Markets are unpredictable, volatile, complex, but your trading journey doesn't have to be. Hola Prime TV is now live. Every trading day, join top coaches as they break down real-time setups, key levels, live trades across Forex, futures, and crypto. From Tokyo's early momentum, to London's open surge, to New York's high volatility action. We decode every move live. Get sharp analysis, clear strategies, and insights that actually make sense. And yeah, we don't just break down charts. We crack a few smiles too. Only on Hola Prime TV. This is more than content. This is infotainment and beyond.
What's going on, Quiet Markets crew? Let's get you up to speed on the wild ride that was yesterday and what's on the docket for today. So strap in, because between a surprise government siesta in the U.S., as well as some truly dismal jobs data, the markets have decided that drama is back in style. It's like a daytime soap opera, but with more charts and, sadly, less interesting hair. So let's start with the main event that has everyone shrugging with a mix of annoyance and deja vu. The U.S. government has officially shut down. That's right. For the fourth time during the Trump presidency, Washington has managed to turn a routine budgetary deadline into a full-blown political cliffhanger. You'd think that they'd have a recurring calendar invite for this by now. The immediate fallout, aside from a bunch of frustrated federal employees, is that a ton of critical economic data is now in limbo. The star of the show, Friday's non-farm payrolls report, is almost certainly going to be delayed. It's like waiting for the season finale of your favorite show, only for the network to say, we'll air it eventually. This leaves traders flying a bit blind, forced to rely on second-tier data, which, as we saw yesterday, can be a real roller coaster. And what a piece of second-tier data we got. The ADP employment report, which measures private sector hiring, absolutely face-planted. Instead of the expected gain of 50,000 jobs, we saw a contraction of 32,000 in September. And to add insult to injury, August's initially positive number was revised straight into the negative from 54,000 all the way down to a loss of 3,000. It seems that the ADP report's favorite hobby is being wrong and then apologizing for it later. This dismal number sent a shockwave through rate markets, with traders now pricing in a 99% probability that the Fed will cut rates at its October 29th meeting. They're essentially betting that the Fed will see this jobs weakness and respond with a monetary hug. The market is now fully expecting not one, not two, but potentially three or more rate cuts in the coming months. The U.S. dollar, as you'd expect, took a beating across the board, kind of like a piñata at a very pessimistic birthday party. This dollar weakness was a gift for other major currencies. So the Aussie dollar US dollar pair managed to climb for a third day, pushing towards the 0.662 area as traders looked ahead to some key Australian data of their own. The pound US dollar currency pair even briefly poked its head above the psychologically important 1.35 handle. The euro held relatively steady, largely shrugging off its own data, which showed inflation did tick up to 2.2%, which was slightly above the ECB's target. It seems that President Lagarde's recent cautious tone has convinced everyone that the ECB is firmly on hold for now, so a little inflation isn't causing any panic. It's the monetary equivalent of, we'll believe it when we see it. Now, when the dollar gets weak and uncertainty reigns, you know who loves a party? Gold. The shiny stuff blasted off to a fresh all-time high of nearly $3,895 per ounce before settling back a bit. And with falling treasury yields and a shaky jobs picture, gold is the ultimate, I'm not touching that asset. And traders are flocking to it. It's the market's safe space, and business is booming. And meanwhile, in the land of rising sun, the USD JPY currency pair took a tumble down to the 147.05 region. The weak dollar was the main driver, but the yen also found support from its own safe haven status and ongoing speculation that the Bank of Japan might still be gearing up for a policy shift of its own. 1 second while my alert finishes off. Okay, perfect. But not every asset was celebrating. Poor crude oil can't catch a break. WTI extended its losses for a fourth straight day, sinking to a 4-week low around the $61.67 per barrel level. A bearish inventory report showing a bigger than expected build in crude stocks was the main culprit, adding to fears about oversupply. It's like the market opened the oil storage tanks and said, "Yep, still full." And all eyes are now on the upcoming OPEC Plus online meeting that's coming up this Sunday, where the group will hopefully provide some clarity on production plans for November. They've got their work cut out for them to restore trader confidence. That is for sure. So what's on the economic calendar for today? Assuming any data actually gets released, that is. Well, the Australian trade balance for August is the main event early in the session, expected to show a slight narrowing in the surplus. And a stronger number could give the Aussie dollar another nudge higher. And we'll also get some Swiss inflation data, which is expected to show a very, very modest uptick. We're talking from 0.2% to 0.3%. Not exactly the stuff of inflation nightmares, but every little bit counts for the Swiss National Bank. And of course, we'll all be keeping one eye on Washington, waiting for any signs of a deal to end the shutdown and get our precious data flow back. So it's a bit of a lighter day, which gives us all a chance to catch our breath after the ADP-induced chaos. So that's a wrap, folks. Shaky jobs market, a shuttered government, a soaring gold price, and a sulking oil market. Just another day in the wonderfully weird world of Forex. So let's see what today brings. And then lastly, as always, economic calendar. Thursday, October 2nd, Swiss National Bank report. The CPI will come out at about 2:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It shows tentative as far as the unemployment claims number for the U.S. dollar. So not quite certain on that. It's usually at the early part of the session, the New York session. But again, it does show tentative, so a little sketchy. And then finally at 9:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do have Japanese Bank of Japan Governor Ueda speaking. So we'll see what he's got to say. And then, as far as Friday goes, unemployment rate, non-farm employment change, if it's not delayed first, right? So that's about all I got right now on the economic front and the geopolitical front. So let's dive into some quiet markets with Coach Tony and see what we got cooking this evening. Back to you guys. Hey, what's going on, Coach Tony?
How you doing, Tiger? How you doing?
Oh, doing all right.
Yeah, that's good.
Doing wonderful, my friend. Life is great.
Yeah, you sounded pretty good there in the beginning of this session with the news. I love how you read it.
Yeah.
No one can really do it quite like you, honestly.
Yeah, gotta liven it up. Gotta throw a pun or 2 or 12 in there, right?
100%. That's good.
Drawing
How was the day today?
Great. Yeah, it was pretty good. I've been in a dollar Canada dollar Canada dollar long trade since Monday evening, I guess it was. Yeah, Monday
Wow.
or Monday after Forex fire, actually. So yeah, right at about 49, about 50, 52 hours or so at this point. Dollar CAD
That's
pays me a
amazing,
swap
honestly.
well, so yeah, it's one that I don't mind keeping open a few days, and it's doing really well, I have to say. So I got in this trade because it's the strongest fundamental score that I'm getting right now. Dollar CAD, it's plus 16. So it's looking really, really
Wow.
good despite the craziness that is the government shutdown. And yeah, I read off in the news that dollar's been falling to a lot of currencies, but it has not been falling to the Canada dollar, because the Canada dollar actually looking quite weak right now when it comes to all the fundamental data. And the dollar itself actually gained a little bit of strength despite that horrible jobs report. So looking at all the fundamental data as a whole, coupled with the sentiment and the technical analysis, yeah, dollar Canada dollar is number one by far. It's actually one of the strongest scores I've seen on a currency pair. I think that is the strongest I've seen.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just, it's just one, it's why I always say, things like the government shutdown obviously sounds horrible, but it's just one little box checked off on my Excel spreadsheet when you compare the currencies to, all the stuff, GDPs, the inflation, this and that. And yeah, I got to say,
it's so crazy. The market is just shrugging it off, it seems. I mean, if you were shorting the NASDAQ, you probably had a pretty bad day today.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you probably got torched for that. Yeah, it looks like it. Just a parabolic move up, huh? Yeah. It actually, that move up
100%.
created a demand zone I'm kind of keeping an eye on if we get a retracement. But yeah, so on this trade, man, I got into it on my GUI trades after I got into it on my bigger account that I have. And I actually got a much better fill on my bigger account than I did the GUI trades account. So price moved up, moved my stop losses to break even, and then some, because we got a really strong spike. Back end, if you don't mind, pull up my chart. We'll take a quick look at the dollar CAD. And I mean, you want to talk about explosive move away from my zone. This was about as good as it gets. So we'll get my chart up and I'll show. But anyway, yeah, I got so on the GUI trades account, I had my stop loss a little bit higher up than I did my other account. So it ended up retracing and stopping me out for a pretty nice gain yesterday on the GUI account, but it just barely missed my trailing stop on my other account. So let me see here, which I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I mean, as far as the initial drop down into my daily demand zone down here, I kind of looked at all these little low points and just assumed there's going to be some stop losses under here to feel the orders the opposite direction. So looking at this thing on a 15-minute time frame, I mean, when it dropped into my demand, it just rejected it hard. So yeah, I got into the trade down here and pushed up, made some new highs up here, collecting this liquidity. So I would definitely expected a pullback. And I initially moved my trailing stops up under this area over here initially. So as the day went on yesterday, I moved my stop loss under this point on my GUI account, and you can see it came down and stopped me out. So it was a pretty decent winner. Well, on my other account, because I had a much better fill, I left the stop loss under this point back here. I didn't want to use this one yet because I wanted to at least lock in some gains. So I just kind of used this little former support back here. So as a result of keeping that other trailing stop here, it came down but missed it by like 1.8 pips. And you can see the rest of history. It just kept flying upwards. So, I mean, I moved it under here at one point. I moved it under here at one point. And then currently I have it right here, right in this area. So Yeah, man. Well, I mean, it's up right now, $3,300 unrealized. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy
Yep.
with that. But I know
That's
that we
awesome.
did have this.
Congrats.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just going to keep trailing it, but I knew that we would have a little reaction off this 30-minute supply. So I definitely wanted to give it the wiggle room. So that's why I had left my stop down here. Actually, I initially had it. Let me see here. I think I had it right here initially because it came down and missed it by 0.3 pip. So 3 pipettes, right? Before reversing. So yeah, then I just turned around and locked in some more, and I kind of put it under this what kind of turned into be a little bit of a wiki daily demand. So that's currently where it's at now, just kind of under this mark here. So yeah, I mean, if we can get another high and chew through the rest of this supply up here, then I'll obviously, move it up under this point here once we get a close up here. So that's kind of my plan. I'm just kind of looking at it on a, like a 30-minute, 15-minute, 1 hour time frame, and I'll just keep trailing it up. I mean, that obviously would have been the conservative place to.
All you can do.
That would have been the easy conservative place to take profit, but with such a strong score, I didn't want to limit my upside. I mean, I've got an ultimate stop loss if I go further back in time up in this area here. And I mean, even at that point, I'll just trail it up as long as it wants. We've got a daily supply up here, which I could definitely see, getting a bigger retracement off of this green candle.
This is going to turn into a multi-week trade.
Well, I don't know that I want a chance leaving it open over the weekend. So I got basically a day and a half left on it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to want to chance that. I mean, I don't want to get too greedy because this point right here would be about a $5,800 profit. So I'll just kind of get an initial, see how it reacts. And if it's just getting lazy, I may just go ahead and cut it at that point. But this is why I like getting into trades on Mondays or even Tuesdays, right? That way I get 2, 3 days, 4 days, just to kind of trail stop as it goes in my favor. So, sure. Definitely the trade of the week. Definitely probably the trade of the month. It's turned into one of my better. So
yeah, in terms of P&L, I mean, what more could you ask for?
Yeah. And my trailing stop, if everything just completely goes against me at this point, then it would stop out for about a $1,550 win. So, it's going to be good no matter what. But because it's given me the strongest score, that's why I'm just wanting to trail stop it for as long as possible. Squeeze every last bit of it out. And this is why. Dollar CAD at the very top. Very bullish 16. Nothing but blue across the board. No red boxes. Nothing favoring Canada over the dollar sentimentally, technically, or fundamentally. So, I'm going to squeeze it. A lot of times, a lot of profitable traders, they may have, as far as swing trading goes, you may have just a couple, 3, 4 good trades like this a year, right? That's where a lot of people make their money. So I'm not talking scalp trading. I'm talking a higher time frame for any of you swing traders out there, right? You'll have a lot of break-even trades. You'll have a lot of tiny losses, right? But the real money is kind of made when you can catch a big whale move like this. So, that's what I like about swing trading. That way I'm not having to worry about every little detail, right? I mean, the government shutdown is obviously a big deal in the short term. 5-minute time frame, scalp trading, that kind of thing. But it's just, it's noise that doesn't affect these higher time frames as much. So, just going to milk it, man. Just going to squeeze it for all it's worth. But outside of the dollar CAD, we got NASDAQ and Dow that are now giving very bullish scores. So that's the highest I've seen any of the indexes for a while. They were down here at a 5 this morning. But
Yep. No, it's a continuation trade. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, pound CAD's looking very bullish. Pound New Zealand, Aussie CAD. So really, those top 6 are the main ones I care about right now. And then on the flip side, on the bearish, got a very bearish score for the CAD yen. So that's another one I'm keeping a close eye on. And New Zealand dollar and Aussie dollar as well. But and I got alerts pretty much set on all these. So that is kind of where I sit at the moment. Taking a look at the dollar heat map. Okay, so we're getting a little better scoring on the dollar. This sucker's been down at like 40% for the last week and a half, but we did have obviously that horrible ADP number, which everybody was talking about today, but just one piece of the puzzle because we also had a good manufacturing number. Now it didn't surprise by a ton. It was only a 0.1% higher than the forecast, but it was higher than the previous number. So we're still technically in the contraction area, but that's a good sign. As long as we're going up, right? That's all that matters.
100%.
We had the good JOLTS job openings number that came out yesterday. Again, it was a surprise, but not like it was a gigantic one, but it was a surprise nevertheless. So that finally gave us a decent jobs number because the jobs numbers have been looking horrible. But we got the initial jobless claims number last week, which pulled this from a bearish to a bullish number when we had about a 20,000 job decrease on the forecast. So that was a bullish sign. And then, yesterday's jobless JOLTS job number came out bullish. So now rather than having all 4 of the jobs numbers in bearish territory, we've only got 2. So we're right at 50% now. Growth numbers have been looking good, but other than that, it's the inflation numbers now that are getting a little bit better readings. So rather than all of them being bearish, last week we had a neutral PCE. So that actually helped because it took this box from bearish to neutral. And then, so at the moment, we're just left with really 3 red boxes for the currency. The stock market's a little bit different of an animal. As always, people, inflation numbers look a little different on the stocks versus the currency itself. So, we do have the bearish PPI numbers still from earlier in September. Obviously, today's bad ADP number with that revision, which was horrible. And then at the beginning of September, we had the bad non-farm number. So, this is what I meant by flying blind because they're talking about this now getting delayed. So we'll see how that shakes out. But relative to the other currencies, the dollar, even at a 66%, actually be the strongest one of the 8 majors. So if I look at the speed gauge, the surprise meter, we can see the dollar again, 67%. The euro's looking pretty decent. The pound's looking okay, the yen. But then you look at these bottom ones, and those are hideous. So I talked about Canada, the trade I'm in. This is a big reason why I'm trying to stay in it as long as possible. Strong dollar, very weak Canada dollar. It's the weakest one right now. It's just horrible. So, and part of my thinking with this trade is obviously looking at Canada's heat map as well. All red, except for one bullish. They had a horrible PMI number that came in today. They dropped even deeper into contraction territory. So that's just more fuel to my long position.
Yep.
And then, nothing. Like we thought the dollar was falling apart there for a while. Canada's falling apart even harder at only 12.5%. So that one bullish report. So, matching up a weak currency with a strong currency. And as a result, it's paying off handsomely. So, I can't complain at all about this week.
I was going to say, what more could you want?
Nothing at all. Just consistency and more moves like this. That's what I would.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
which is what we're
depressed
all seeing,
CAD
right?
dollar, strong US dollar, or stronger against the CAD dollar. Yeah, that's what you want. It is pretty crazy. I thought that, given the impending shutdown that we heard about, really it seemed like the mainstream media was only talking about it like yesterday. Yet this has been clearly on the back burner, front burner, whatever, for at least 2 weeks. And they probably just
Yeah.
thought that there'd be some sort of stopgap funding bill that was passed, but yeah, apparently not. Apparently not, and they are forcing it into a shutdown, full on, full
Yeah.
freight shutdown
Yeah.
until
I mean, I
the
can't
Democrats and
blame them.
Republicans can figure out something.
Yeah. I can't blame them for not really paying a ton of attention to it because, during the Biden administration, I think they said there was 13 of these that came up, and every single time they voted to pass.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
It's like, okay, I mean, if I'm running a newscast, sure, I definitely would mention it, but I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time on it because you have pretty good history that they actually got along when it mattered most and passed the clean CRs, the continuing resolution, which is really the thing that's crazy about this shutdown, because it's not like the Republican side was trying to add anything, but obviously the Democrats were trying to add in $1 trillion of spending in a 4-week period and something crazy like that. So, but at the end of the day, they voted no. The Democrats voted no. I mean, they got 3 on their side, so there's a little bit of nonpartisan vote on it. But yeah, I was watching a little deeper.
I was going to say 100%. I mean, it is kind of
a little
ridiculous
deeper
how
into,
they go back and forth and start pushing for random stuff.
Yeah. The fat, right? Adding the fat, or the pork, as they call it. Throwing pork in there. But for this to be a clean one, yeah, it's just the partisan politic nonsense that we got to put up with. But such is life. Such is life. It sucks as a trader because, things like the non-farm payroll might be delayed or whatever. There's like what was the number? 2,550 workers, I think I saw, that worked for the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and they're all going to be sent home except for one, I think it was, during the shutdown, however long it lasts.
The one unfortunate soul.
Yeah, the one unfortunate soul. I'm sure they're probably not going to care too much about our measly little NFP report. They're probably just going to be cleaning. They'll probably just be cleaning toilets or something silly like that.
Yeah, that's true. Keeping the lights on, right?
Yep. Vacuuming everything and mopping the floors. So,
it is pretty interesting just how many different organizations are tied to like this shutdown. I think it was Coach Paul that was saying like maybe the U.S. mail might not be operating at like full capacity, so like you might get a little bit of like mail delayed, but that's going to be the real world impact.
Yeah, from the reports I read, they all seem to say it's not affecting the mail because they kind of have their own thing. Like,
okay.
Yeah, like my mother, she was a rural mail carrier for almost 30 years, and whenever we had these shutdowns in the past, she never got affected. Like, she was still able to deliver mail, get paid, and all that. Plus, they make their money off stamps. But yeah, the post office as a whole, I don't think they still have figured out that business model yet. I think they lose like $1 million a month or some crazy number like that. It's just outrageous.
Yeah.
But I don't know. From all accounts I've read, I mean, people still should be getting paid their benefits, as far as Medicaid, Medicare, and WIC and food stamps and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, people, the military will be affected on pay, and some of the TSA employees might get affected. But yeah, they're getting smart. At least they're trying to like figure out creative ways to keep the important stuff afloat. So I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually interesting that you were saying that about the TSA. I'm actually taking a flight on Sunday, so that's a good heads up. I don't know if that means that there's going to be less employees to like work the security line, so it's going to take extra long. That's a good heads up there, Tiger.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they just have to work without getting paid. Now, obviously,
well, I was going to say, I thought that they just end up accruing back pay, and it's like, hopefully it's done by the next pay cycle, and you won't even see any
back pay
interruption. Yeah.
They may just not have it initially, but like the IRS will be probably closed. So if you have any tax related questions, you'll have to wait.
God.
or you should have done that by yesterday, actually. um, Passports, things of that nature could be delayed. So, where are you flying?
Oh yeah. I'm actually going down to Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay. San Juan.
Yeah. No,
Nice. What are
no.
you
We're
doing
actually
down
going to the
there?
southeast part of the island. Just renting a
Okay.
house. Hit the beaches. Try to get some sun. We're going away for like a full week, so you're not going to see me for like a full week, unfortunately.
Oh
But you ever been to Puerto Rico?
no, I have not. No, just Dominican Republic. That'd be the closest I was down there. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dominican Republic. Pretty nice, despite all the moss that kept washing up on the beach. I don't. Puerto Rico may be the same for all I know, but yeah, in Dominican Republic they actually pay a couple guys all day long just to rake in the moss as it washes ashore, and so you see like gigantic balls of moss as it rolls in, and they have to like take it away or whatever. But I don't know if that's just a Dominican Republic thing or what. But Puerto Rico is relatively the
Yeah, yeah,
same
yeah.
area, isn't it? Yeah, not too
Yeah,
awful far
yeah. I
away,
think
but
it's kind of the same. It must be the same stuff in that, just that whole like,
yeah,
what is it? The West Indies they used to call it, but like the Bahamas type area. Yeah, I went to the
yeah,
Dominican twice, and it was really nice. I really enjoyed it. But I actually
yeah. Me too.
actually didn't I actually didn't think that. Well, I know that the Dominican was having some problems like over like the last 5 years, and I remember that like people were just dropping dead after like opening a can of Coca Cola and like drinking from it. Remember that?
I'm sorry, I was reading a chat real quick. What was that? Drinking a what?
No, no,
I missed that
no, no,
last
no.
second.
I just remember people in the Dominican. I remember they were having like tourism problems where people would like open up
Oh,
a water or like a Coca Cola and they just like drop dead. Like someone was poisoning like
oh
these drinks
yeah.
in the Dominican. Yeah,
Oh man, yeah. I think that happened after I went. Yeah, I think when did I go? 2012 was it?
yeah.
2013 maybe? Yeah, I did hear about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I went in
That wasn't too far from.
2017, and it
Okay,
was like
2017.
2018 that this ended up
Okay,
happening. Yeah,
I remember hearing about that and thinking, "Dang, I'm glad. I'm glad I went 5 years earlier or 4 years or whatever it was." Yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah,
I definitely drank some cokes
yeah.
down there. A
Hell
lot of
yeah,
things,
yeah,
but
yeah. You got to have a
cokes
couple of
for sure.
drinks, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. All inclusive resorts. That's like the best thing ever. Best thing ever. Hello to Calvin. Hello to Coach Paul. What's going on, Coach Paul?
Yes, sir.
Hello to Mr.
Tom, Bravo
Tom
Zulu.
Abazulu. Did great today. 2 trades total and rocking it, Coach Tony. There you go. There you go. What else we got on here? Yo. Sunshine Coast, Australia, Calvin. That's right. Calvin, didn't we get you an
Oh
account?
yeah.
I think you won one of our accounts recently. I believe so. Hopefully you got that all squared away and set up. Okay, there's Coach Paul, direct from the USPS website. Operation. Oh yeah, will not be interrupted. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking, Paul.
Nice.
That's what I read in a couple of different articles as well. That's obviously one of the first things people worry about is the mail, but yeah, they kind of do things a little different. So, Tom, the TNT show is on, folks. Strap in, hold on, and get ready for some explosive insights. Love it, love it, love it. Well, let us know what you guys are looking at. Daryl's Rogaine will continue to be delivered. I don't think it's working. He might have to get something different. He might have to start drinking,
Get a
get some
refund.
Miracle Grow, drink some Miracle Grow or something.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god.
We love you, Coach Daryl. You know that. Just in case he's watching, you never know who's
Yep.
eavesdropping
If
on
he's
these.
out there. Yes, he's probably sleeping. Past his
Sleeping. It's only
bedtime.
6:30 where he's at. What time does he go to sleep?
Yeah, I know.
Go to
He's
sleep.
waking up at like 2 a.m. just like you. It's like some crazy hours for him.
Daryl? No, does
Yeah, yeah. Well,
because you
he's out in
guys show.
California.
Right. Well, you guys' show starts at what time again? 8:30. Is it 8:30? 8:30 my time. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So it'd
yeah,
be
like
what,
well,
9:30
nine
your time?
o'clock Eastern, yeah, 6 a.m. his time. But yeah,
Six
he's
a.m.
up at like I'd say like 4 or 5, something like that.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize he got up that early. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah.
Wow. Well, I know what that's like. See, so right now,
Yep, 100%.
yeah, right now I typically get up around 3 to 4 o'clock, which would be about the equivalence of 3 to 4 a.m. If I were to flip everything 12
Mm.
hours. Uh, yeah, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. What else am I looking at? Me and Paul have been trading a lot of gold lately on this stream. So just playing around this Asian markets. I was kind of keeping an eye on gold there with this little demand down here, but I think at this point it's all too many wicks going in. It's already been touched quite a few times. I may just end up letting this area go. Had a nice gap, but it's obviously super expensive, right? When we roll all the way out, the gold's expensive. It's expensive,
Mm-hmm.
but keeps flying higher. So we're getting retracements. Yeah, that retracement's not looking near as big as this retracement or this retracement. So yeah, I think I'm still most interested in this higher time frame zone, but it's quite a ways away. That would require pretty good discount. 4 hour with a inside of a daily. But as far as the smaller time frames, let's look at this leg right here. We got this leg up, correction. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of missed out on this trade because I was already asleep. Um, Still getting lower highs. Yeah, I'll probably just let this sucker go. I did draw this line up here. If we can somehow manage to get a little bit of a break of structure, I might still be interested in a demand zone down here somewhere for a simple little buy like
Yeah.
that. But I need to see some type of reversal. I don't want to just buy when we got continuous lower highs. So, yeah, that's part of the reason I've kind of ignored that largely today for the hours I have been awake. Yeah, yeah, it just doesn't look good. I mean, give me that break of structure. Maybe we could look at this candle as a potential buy because we do have a little bit of a gap above it. So, yeah, just need more information on it. So I don't think I really see
Yep.
just from a candle structure play. I don't really see anything yet on gold. Silver, well, I was kind of keeping an eye on this little zone over here. 15-minute demand here with a little bit of a gap up just ahead of it. This one did bounce in when I was doing whatever I was doing. What was I doing at that time? Oh, I guess that was at the very start of our show, huh? Dang it. I missed that one. Okay. Well, what do we say we break more of this structure and come down? We might take a look at this 15-minute candle. Something like that. Got some gaps even on 5 minutes above it. Yeah, okay. All right. Because we've already hit the zone that I was initially liking. Maybe we get a little bit of a retracement down here. And then on a 5 minute, for the confluence side of things, you're looking at something like that. I'll put an alert there. Let's see what happens when we get a retracement down here on silver. I'll just throw it out through the end of our show here. And I'll just throw it out through the night, into the night. We'll see if we can't squeeze in a silver trade.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, a little bit of resistance going on right
Yeah,
here.
maybe. I like that area. Yeah, it does look pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just would like to see it come maybe just a little higher. Sweep this liquidity, see if we can come back down, get a reversal. Definitely would like it to prove itself. So get price to come down. Maybe we go something like this. Maybe something like that. A little bit of a reversal type pattern after it comes back. So we'll see if we can get that. We'll see if we can get that. Silver and gold, as much chaos as we have right now, is actually still just given a fairly neutral signal. Let's see. Gold, silver. Okay, so silver's a 3. It's risen a little bit. Gold's a 2. So yeah, as far as these smaller time frames, as always, my top setup scores are typically for my swing trades. Right. These scores are typically for my swing trades.
Got to have the
But
most
when it comes
conviction.
to right,
Oh my
I mean, I
God.
still want
What
to
is
try.
that? What is that little meme photo on the right of your screen?
Oh yeah, me and Paul and me and a couple of guys on Forex Fire were constantly like, I just needed to do something. Looking at a trade setup.
Yeah, just go up or down. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're always. I kept saying about this. Get the stick and poke at it. Do something. Do something. So I just found the meme online and copied and pasted it over, just to be colorful. Yep.
Perfect.
But yeah, again, on the smaller time frames, the 5s and the 15s, I still want to try to trade in the direction of what my top setups are telling me, but it's not as important because it's a little bit noisier. You're typically playing with a lot of retail traders, so not so much the big banks, not as much, as I mean, you're playing with their algorithms because obviously the banks have their trading algorithms and all that, but I don't worry about it as much. But if I'm getting like a +4, +5, I don't want to really try selling the market. I just want to keep that odds enhancer on my side. But I will do it from time to time, especially if I'm in a long uptrend. I run into a supply, and the closest demand is a long ways away. Well, sometimes I'll just sell my way down to it. Bitcoin, I do that. I've actually had some success doing that on Bitcoin. Strong uptrend, just find a supply and sell my way down to the bigger time frame demand and then take it the other way. So yeah, I think that's pretty well all I got on gold and silver at the moment. Got my alert there. Speaking of Bitcoin, what do we got over here? Okay, we're back into some nice up moves, aren't we? Go to a 1 hour. And I guess up move since the 27th. We got over here 1 hour 15. Let's see here. Efficient market, a little bit of efficient. Looks like we got a little bit of a gap right here. Probably use that whole candle for a demand. Yeah, there's a little bitty gap from here to here. Well, there's a pretty decent gap actually. It's already gotten most of it retraced, but failed to hit the demand, so might be a possible spot. I think Bitcoin was actually given a little bit stronger of a signal lately too. What was Bitcoin given? Because it's been neutral forever, but it's now, it's up to a 6. I just saw that. Okay, so it just updated. So Bitcoin is now a bullish 6. Nice. All right. Well, that would make one of these small pullbacks a little bit more feasible, but I don't know that I really like this one that much because price moved up, but then it just got lazy for a handful of candles before ultimately moving up. Let me go to a higher time frame here. What was my 4 hour giving me? 1, 2, 3 basing candles. That might not be a bad one. Let's just incorporate that whole area. All right. Might be a decent 4 hour zone. Got another one below it, but not much of a gap. So I don't think I'd be too interested in this candle here. I mean, it is the origin of that strong move up, but yeah, there's just not much of a gap from that wick to that wick. Probably would just ignore that. So that might be a possibility. Let's just throw an alert on there for, let's just do it through the end of next week. Why not? We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Get a little manipulation somewhere in this area, drop in, buy to the long side. We'll keep an eye on that. But we do have another 4 hour doji. So we could definitely have some demand in here. Let's go back down again. Take a look at that spot again. 1 hour, got pretty efficient price structure through here. So yeah, that candle is definitely the first gap. Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on this spot too on a smaller time frame. See,
Going to be jumping into a
still
bunch
had,
of different trades this evening.
yeah, that one might have a chance of coming down and touching it, but if not, I'll definitely keep an eye on it throughout like Forex fire in the morning and after my nap and all that. So yeah, yeah, maybe something like that. We could potentially see. Keep an eye on that.
Should we call that a W?
Well, I would call that I want to see a little bit of a break of structure type thing. Because I'm not 100% in love with this zone. Didn't really get a ton of volume at all. Obviously, this is the Asia market. But if I could get some kind of a break of structure, like if we can break a line like that, like this, get that break of structure and then a return to price, I mean, that would open up the opportunity of throwing in a fib. Just come down to the kill zone. What's the kill zone? Well, it's, you got your golden zone, the 50 to 61.8, which is very popular, but you also have something called a kill zone that a lot of people like to use. Basically, it's 71 to 88. I don't know all the story or the history or the definitions of it, but I've seen quite a few people use it on the smaller time frames with some pretty good successes. So, it's just another fib possibility. Another possibility to tell a fib. That's right.
Just got to make sure that the fibs aren't fibbing you.
Yeah. And then the other obvious example that I would prefer to see, since I love supply and demand so much, would be, on a 5-minute time frame or a 10 or even a 3-minute. If we could get a little bit of a demand zone form in this area from this leg up, this up leg right here, just drop in, collect some more potential unfilled, and then use that as a springboard to buy. But yeah, with price being so expensive and this nice little up run since whatever that was yesterday, well, like I said, Friday, yeah, I just want it to prove itself a little bit. Me personally. Get rid of that fib. It's too much stuff. Rather than just limit order. Like I don't think I feel comfortable on a limit order with the leg out candle having a big strong wick up top, strong rejection. I mean, by definition though, yeah, that's the first gap, first acceleration gap, or novice gap, or fair value gap, however you guys want to classify it, to this point here. So again, everything here is looking pretty efficient until there. So be interested in that. Well, we'll see what happens. And it's a +6 now. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that must have just changed like in the last hour because I was just looking at this thing earlier and I didn't see that. Yeah, Bitcoin +6. Huh. I'm going to refresh my screen now that I see this just to make sure it's complete. It's a pretty dynamic list, the top setups. I mean, things change quite often throughout the day depending on what reports are released. And sometimes even those yellow folder low risk or low impact events can affect things. If you get a whole bunch of positive low impact reports, well, it might be the equivalence of a medium impact, just like 2 or 3 good medium impact scores would probably be the equivalent to 1 red folder event. So
yeah, I was going to say it's updating in real time, right? So you can literally just refresh and pull it again.
Yeah, typically on this Edge Finder tool I use, typically when a report comes out, they usually have it updated in the algorithm within about half an hour.
I was going to say that's even better because some of them it's like the day after, and it's like such a lagging indicator.
Yeah. No, they're usually they're on top of their game with it. That's why I love it so much. They actually have timestamps. Let's see, data updates and sources. Yeah, so here, this is perfect. This is something I don't mind sharing. So like this shows their schedule of updates for the different report and then how often they update it. Update interval. Yeah. So usually, yeah, some of them are hourly, some of them are daily, some of them are 30 minutes, like retail sentiment. Yeah, so that's basically it right there. And then it kind of gives you a countdown to the next update. So yeah, they're pretty on top of it with most of this stuff. Now it says daily, but they often get the stuff refreshed, like I said, usually within about a half an hour. I think they just give themselves some wiggle room in case anybody wants to complain. Well, we do have it posted. We refresh it daily, update it daily. What else have I got we could look at? NASDAQ. NASDAQ is a plus 13. Well, let's go take a look at that. The NASI. I always start from the 4-hour time frame. Yeah. All right. So on the NASI, we do have a 4-hour candle here. And then that bigger candle, I think, is actually a 1-hour. Yeah. So we got a 1-hour, which is peaking above the 4-hour. So for me, whenever I get a confluence like this, to where one of the zones starts higher up, I wait till it comes down to the second. So like I would ideally want to see the top of the 4-hour on this example, rather than taking a trade off the 1-hour. Because at least now I've got the 4-hour traders helping out. So that's why I do that. That's why I put my alert down here just ahead of the 4-hour. So just ignore the top part of the 1-hour. Now, as always, price could say, screw you, Tiger. We're going to hit the 1-hour and take off without you. Okay. If it does, fine.
Yeah.
But I like confluences with as
might not
many
need
time
much to
frames.
just go up.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that 1-hour zone is pretty similar to the 15. And going all the way down to the 5. Wow, that 5-minute candle is actually okay. Well, now that I see that may change things a little bit. So the down red candle is the same on the 5, the 15, and the 1-hour. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my alert up here after all, just so I can see how price interacts in this area here. That's probably what I will do. Efficient. Okay. And then you got another 5-minute candle right there. So yeah, I'll just put a little line on top of that just so I know there's another little 5-minute candle there. I don't like it. It gets kind of messy at times with all the boxes. So sometimes on the smaller, the 5s, the 10s, the 15s, or even the 1s, I'll just throw a line on instead of throwing out a whole new box, just so I don't get too much nonsense on here. But yeah, strong move up. So yeah, let's get a drop into the 1-hour, get a little bit of a manipulation going on here. Yeah, go for a trade, something like that. Looks pretty good. A little bit of manipulation, get some liquidity on either side before ultimately taking off. That's what I'd like to see. And then I did also draw a trend line from this bottom here, kind of going up through here. So if price came down and touched that inside of the demand, yeah, it's even better confluence. Got a little liquidity hunt under here already before that push up. So I like that. A lot of shorts probably piled in here. Well, not a ton. Doesn't look like the volume spread candle was huge or anything, but yeah, you definitely had some shorts in here that got trapped. There's some trapped volume, as they call it.
Yep.
Yeah. Second strongest asset. So that'll be probably my first trade attempt right there.
Literally just, hey, I thought you were going to start setting some limit orders or something.
We get the government back open, I'll get back to it. I did set a couple
of headline risk.
Yeah. It's like I say a lot. I mean, I trust demand zones and supply zones, but I trust but verify. I want to be on top of it, making sure I get one of these reversal type patterns coming in. Dow Jones is the same 13 score. Let's see what we got on the Dow. Let's go back to a 4-hour. I got a lot of crap on this chart. Oh, so I initially drew this here saying Yeah, like would like to see a new high form and then a new demand zone get created in the process, which it looks like we could use this as one if we can get a close up here somewhere like this, then a return.
Mm-hmm.
Continue some higher highs. But yeah, I mean, that candle right there very well could turn into a demand zone. I'm not going to draw it up yet because we haven't broken this high yet. The other opportunity it looks like I put on here was this drop down here. Oh, yeah. So this blue rectangle was basically connecting the dots of a lot of former resistance points back here. And then that resistance became support for a few different candles and wicks. And this demand zone already got hit, so that negates that. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. This was a daily zone, which had already hit, so that negates that. But I still want to leave it there just so I remember that started out as a daily demand. I'll just color it light yellow so I know it's already been touched. Big old fly. But yeah, I mean, I don't really do a lot of support resistance specific trades, but I do want to keep an eye on it because it's been pretty powerful. So in the context of a former daily demand, a former smaller time frame demand, yeah, I just want to see. Might potentially be interested to see if that might be a trade opportunity. But yeah, I prefer the zones themselves, not just a support resistance line. So looks like I drew up another demand down here and I put a big X on it. Why did I do that? Oh, that's why. Okay, so yeah. So by definition, it is a demand. It is a 1 hour demand, I think it was. Yeah. So demand, but the problem is price just got super lazy really quick. Yeah, this sideways rest that it took after that initial thrust up, that was a turnoff. Bounced into the zone up here, came all the way back. So I don't even know why I drew that. I think I was using that as an example, showing people the zones.
Perfect.
Did this get hit? Did that right there get hit? Let me look. I guess that didn't get hit, did it? Came close. I'll keep an eye on that spot right there. I mean, that was a pretty decent area there. Now, the leg out candle was big, but we didn't get a ton of volume. Not till the candle after that. Did hit that supply, came all the way back. I think that's why I ignored it. I'll still keep an eye on it. Color it light green so I know there's something suspect about it. Yeah, we'll just pull that forward. Definitely not my favorite play, but we'll see.
Yep.
Congestion here. I mean, they probably put a bunch of liquidity down here in that area. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think ultimately my favorite play on the Dow from a swing trade perspective, obviously, would be that green line right there. Give me a better play. Have this continue up. Maybe I could use that red candle as a zone in the future because it's got a little bit of a gap. Nothing too sexy. Now, if I wanted to go even deeper, smaller time frames, all right, got this recent move up. Obviously, at the origin of that strong move up, we got a demand. Got another demand right here. But this one has a gap closest to the origin of the move. So that's probably what I would prefer. I mean, if we already got a move like that back here, right? Straight up, straight down, straight back up. Is that something we can replicate? Straight up, straight down, straight back up. Right?
We'll have to wait and see. Wait for tomorrow.
We shall see. We already broke this high point here and closed. So that shows me that must be somewhat strong there. I wished it had more volume than this down here. But we'll see.
What does it look like on the 4 hour?
A lot of trading. 4 hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So order block. Got an order block further down. Yeah, we got to get out of that range. I don't like it. I don't like that wick. Is that the Jerome Powell wick?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's the 23rd wick. That's Tuesday.
September 23rd.
He spoke on it. Yeah, what did we get back then? The 23rd was the PMI data. Flash PMI. Yeah, Fed chair. Yeah, that was Powell's speech. 12:35 Eastern time. Yep, that was well, his speech was 12:30, so his speech was on this candle here. But that move was from 8 a.m., which on my calendar was, the PMI data. So we had pretty neutral. Actual, okay, so the manufacturing was 0.2 less, but the services was 0.1 less. Okay. E45. Yeah, that was PMI day for all the other currencies as well. President Trump spoke at 9:50 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, that's what we had there. A lot of lip flapping sessions and PMI data. So that was the result. Big up move, big down move.
Too many people talking.
That's right. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians, right?
That's true. That's true.
What's going on, Colin? Coach Paul, you better charge your phone. Have a good one, boss. I just buy signals with full margin. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I didn't know today was April Fool's Day. Yeah, the ultimate YOLO. Love it. Do something. Tony, your brain's connected to the Neuralink? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
How do I get in on that? Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Colin, or any of you guys, if you have anything you want us to look at, let us know. I'm just kind of going right now through some of my top setups and just keeping one of my eyes on my Canada trade as well. Dollar CAD. Looks like it's getting a little bit of a retracement. That's fine. Totally fine. All right, pound Canada dollar plus 11. Where are you at, pound CAD? All right, 4 hours. So we had a 4-hour zone back here that got touched and flew up, got touched again and flew up. We had another 4-hour block here that got touched and flew back up. This is why I love 4 hours. I mean, they get touched and move and bounce all the time, just like the daily.
Yeah. Yep.
Dailies here's a daily, right? Got touched, slammed up. I mean, you can't beat it.
It's almost easy to find where the buying is going to happen.
Yeah, it is. It is, and that's why. I mean, you can do this on all the time frames, and you can see they're pretty accurate, but they're just even more accurate on the 4-hour daily. I just love it. Yeah, I mean, and it makes sense because, where I went to my academy, the guy that one of the instructors that worked there, he was a CME trader at the Chicago Board of Trade. And so he said that, when it comes to supply and demand, I mean, he saw the orders in front of him constantly. And he said all price does on our time frames is just bounces back and forth between supply, demand. And then after a while, the whole process either shifts up above supply or shifts down below demand. And the same thing, they just look for more supply and demand. So, they didn't say anything about that happening on a 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart, anything. They specifically talked about the higher time frame. But I mean,
got to see where the best confluence is.
Exactly. So, and that's exactly why I look for not only a daily, but a 4-hour within, maybe a 1 hour within, a 15-minute within.
Sure.
To try to get as many time frame traders confluence as I can. I mean, if I get a 4-hour demand and there's just not really any good demand, like there's not any good zones within, which isn't very often because 4-hour typically does. But let's just say a 1 hour time frame. If I get a 1 hour demand zone or a supply zone, Yeah, there's plenty of times where I'll dig down to the smaller time frames and not see a good 15-minute zone or a 5-minute zone. So
Yeah.
I don't like to trade those. I like to trade only when I see there's multiple time frame traders trading it on the retail side. The banks ultimately are the ones that move the money, but if you can get the retail help, it just helps. It helps. It just helps.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Helps increase.
Looks like Colin's in the chat. He's asking to take a look at gold.
Gold
again.
Yeah. We looked at that at the outset. We can always look again. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And then rightfully so. So just a refresher on gold. I got a couple zones drawn up here. It's already touched it though. So I'm just basically looking for a break of structure above this little double top or triple top, however you want to classify that. Colin, get a push up here. Would like to get a close and then a retracement down. And at this point, it looks like I accidentally drew it right on a demand zone. So there we go. Now we got a couple options on this. We got this demand up here, which the reason I didn't draw this earlier was because there's another one below it, even though my algorithm didn't draw it. Sometimes it doesn't draw things where the human eye sees it, which I don't know how it could have missed this one. But yeah, we got this one down here, which is the origin of that move. That's the one I'd be the most interested in because we have a gap right there. Now, in all fairness, we have a gap here as well above this second demand. But from my experiences and my study, the price loves to get magnetized back to the origins of the moves. Again, price typically likes to fluctuate between supply and demand. So same is true on a smaller time frame. It's just that there's more noise. There's just more noise. So ultimately, yeah, for me to be interested in buying gold right now, I would prefer to see a break of structure just to show that there is the potential of a reversal, and then a retracement down, and then we'd be looking to buy here.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have a supply. What's that?
Hopefully see a lift off.
Oh, for sure. Got a supply zone up here that I'd be interested in looking to potentially take profit in front of, or at least make sure I got a tightly trailed stop by the time it comes up here. Start trailing it underneath the higher lows, just like I'm doing on dollar CAD right now. So, yeah, just need a little more information, Colin. Got to see a break of structure. This is just me, right? You can be aggressive and buy after it if it were to drop straight down. But the problem is, so far we haven't had any higher highs. They've all been lower highs. So that's the only reason I'm just being a little extra cautious on it. I mean, yeah, we did wick higher right here, but I'm more interested in this double triple top. Let's break that structure first and then come down. And again, I'm more interested in this lower zone. I'm going to color this one light green just because I know that there's something a little better. But it's strong too. It's just not as strong because, yeah, we got the gap. But what happened? Price went up a little bit further and got lazy and went sideways. This move down here is more sustained. Right? Demand zone, gap, kept going. But this one went up on our leg out candle and it went straight sideways. So that's not as appealing to me. This one is. And also in the context of we are still technically in a 1 hour higher time frame zone, which ultimately is stronger than any other smaller time frames. Now it's just, but again, it has just kind of went sideways. It's not like this demand zone has been strong enough to just force price to fly back up immediately. It is lazy, which is, again, that's another reason why I want to see that break of structure, because ultimately what I want to see is, this kind of Chinese walk action, right? Get a little bit of or some people would call it a cup and handle. Cup and handle. I just call it a Chinese walk because it's going slower than a cup.
Oh my God. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, Chinese walk. Yep.
That is good.
Yep. So yeah, Colin. I mean, that's your smaller time frame, example potential, but just need a little more information is all. And then ultimately, that demand is 3,856 area on your price chart. So, not anything I'm interested in right this second, though. Just need some more time.
Yeah, it's got to play out. It's one of the most important things. I mean, even though Tiger's going through all these different setups, it's like, sometimes it's like, yeah, you got to wait for the pattern to play out a little bit more. Let price discovery happen. Let the market figure out if it wants to stay in a certain pattern or start forming something else. So, and this is a perfect example of that. Yeah. On the higher
in my
frame,
old days, my first couple years in trading, I'd have done bought at the proximal line of that hour demand. I'd have done the limit order day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like a baby scorpion that can't control its stinger, right? Well, I'm now a full size.
Everything that worked.
That's right. Stabbing everything. All right. The scorpion's grown, matured a little bit. It waits till it's absolutely ready.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
And a lot of times, a limit order would have worked, right? Price flies up and completely misses me. That's fine. That's fine. I got the patience now to not just fly in on every single supply and demand zone touch, because not all supply and demand zones work, just like not all gaps work.
Yep.
So you got to figure out where the institutional ones are, not just the retail zones, institutional ones. So, okay, what else have I got here? Yeah, pound CAD, pound New Zealand. That was a couple of my other ones. Pound CAD. Okay, we busted through a supply. I like that because that means that we might have some. Well, the initial move looks like was from that demand there. But what else have we got a little closer? Let's go 4 hour real quick. Okay, so I drew one up down here. That's quite a ways away, though. Oh yeah, we are in the context on pound CAD of a monthly supply zone. So the highest time frame we got, right there. So we are currently chewing through it this year, but it's since March, it looks like. Doesn't mean I won't trade anything, but it just means I have to keep that in the back of my mind. Hey, we are Tiger. Mm-hmm. We are chewing through a monthly supply zone. So here we go. A weekly demand bounced in, flying up. Go back to our daily, that confluence. Price hit the daily, flew up. The more recent leg is, this area here on a daily. So we just keep stepping down. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now the 4 hours are a lot more accurate than the 1 hour than the 15. So even though the lower on the curve demand was down here, hey, look, it still hit this one. It's flying up. So now let's keep an eye on this part of the leg. You got an efficient market. All these candles are touching candles to the left until we get to this candle here.
Yep.
So I definitely want to mark a line around that, a rectangle around that. So that's our first inefficiency. 4 hour time frame, we got a gap. I like to see that. And just find confluence. Step down to a 1 hour. Okay, we got efficient market, efficient. Okay, so here we go. So this is one thing I dislike. We got an efficient market, meaning candles are overlapping candles to the left all throughout here. The first inefficiency I see is actually up here, which is currently where we're hitting. So it's actually above, it's actually in the gap of the 4 hours. So that's now its own 1 hour demand, which it looks like it did come down. Looks like it did go through the distal line of the zone. Are we getting another Chinese walk type of a price action on this? What did the 15-minute? We had a gap here. That green candle there is a 15-minute demand. Yep. Going down to the 5-minute. Did we have a 5-minute demand with a gap above it? Yep, right here. So that was actually a pretty good confluence. And what happened when price came down? Well, it did go through a little bit deeper, but it definitely slowed price down. And now we've gotten this move up. Do I have a break of structure? Well, for me to be extra conservative, I would say that would have been a good spot to get a break of structure, which means in the wake, I do have another 5-minute demand down here. So kind of a similar picture to what we was just looking at on gold. Okay, I want to draw this demand up. I do have a gap just above that. This is the origin of that strong move up. So there's my gap. So yeah, similar picture. Give me a break of structure, close up there, come down, and then I'd be happy to jump in. Oops, drew too many lines. That's probably what I would want to see. Break a structure and close, return to price, or return to demand, and then look to buy up. So I'm actually going to put my alert now up in this area, or down in this area. And we'll just throw that out through tomorrow evening, throughout tomorrow's quiet markets. So yeah, that might be a fairly decent play right there, right? But you guys can see it's just you start off at the highest time frames and see where the higher time frame zones are. You find them, and again, this algorithm's pretty good about locating most of the zones, but sometimes I look at it a little bit different because I'm looking at spots where price based and then we shot up and left a gap in its wake. Well, the indicator doesn't always find those. So, again, like right here, right? To me, that's a demand zone because we had a big gap up. Mm-hmm. And all this is efficient price action after it hit that initial demand. So again, we got overlapping candles to your left and to your right. And then that candle is the first one that left a gap in its wake. So that's why I don't 100% rely on this indicator, but for the most part, it finds most of them. But yeah, you just slowly step down 4 hour, 1 hour, 15, and just try to find those confluences, get as many of those odds enhancers in your favor until ultimately you land at something like this. 5-minute demand within the higher time frame demand, break a structure, proving that it's trying to turn around, a reversal pattern, if you will. And sometimes this will run off and leave me. Yeah, I have that happen from time to time. That's fine. Because a lot of times it'll just keep going down and completely blow me out. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to avoid right here. If I lose a trade now and then like this, that's fine. But I just want to see it prove itself so that I have more confidence if and when price returns to my zone to buy it on a limit order at this point, or still just get a wick, right? Really a couple options on that. I still will even verify it from here. Mm-hmm. Everything's done, everything I've asked it to do. I still want to see a wick in and at least a wick on the bottom of the candle or an engulfing pattern with a volume spike at the bottom. That's a lot of pieces. But after 10 years of studying supply and demand zones, that's now keeping me out of a ton of crap that I used to get into. Again, got rid of the baby scorpion syndrome.
Heck yes.
So yeah, that's basically what I'm looking at there. Yeah. Get that out of my way now that I know that that's not in the picture anymore. So that's pound CAD.
Yeah. Man, I thought we were going to have a silver trade here, but it looks like silver is now ripping up like almost 25 cents in like the last 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, it did this last night with Paul and I.
Yeah.
Crazy move. We were so fixated on gold that we weren't paying as much attention to silver. And here we go. This was last night.
Yep.
Right. Yep. This all happened in a short span while we were messing around on gold at that same time frame, and gold wasn't doing a whole lot. And then at one point I looked at silver. I said, maybe we should be looking at silver.
Try to yell it out as quick as possible.
Especially with the way he trades, right?
Sure.
With the auction theory and everything, like he would have been able to see this a lot better rather than the supply and demand. I mean, yeah, it looks like we did kind of come down into this. This probably would have been a good demand area. Let's look at that. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, so see, this right here would have been a good demand buy. A little bit, just went through a little bit on the bottom end. But stop loss would have kept you safe because I would have definitely doubled up the range of that zone since that is a tiny range. So yeah, stop loss down here, that would have been a nice trade. But no, we were too busy digging around on gold.
It's due diligence. That's what it's called.
Due diligence. Yep. Yeah, so silver bounced into a supply. So that might make it a little less interesting for me to want to buy because it looks like it's a very strong drop. That's a freight train at this point. I would have wanted to see price come out of that demand and go more like a 45-degree angle, not just straight down. So that might keep me out of it. Possibly. I mean, depends on what the reversal looks like. Break of structure and the whole nine. So, and not only that, but this demand zone wasn't even strong enough to break through that supply, much less close on the other side of it or even this high up here. So it's just another odds enhancer, another reason to talk me out of a trade.
Oh, I hear you.
Yep, but yeah, that's definitely a move. Yeah, I guess so. I guess we'll have to remember this from now on at this time every single evening. Keep an eye on silver at 9 p.m. Central.
Yeah, it's like with these weird moves that you can kind of like fade some of these moves pretty easily. Yeah, it is what it is here. Now look at it, just reversing. Headed Tiger's target, Tiger's demand area.
What's he talk? Oh, no sleep narrator. IPOs. Oh, the IPOs. What's your thoughts on IPOs, Tony? Do you trade IPOs much?
No, I did a lot when I was on the institutional desk. Of course, IPO issuance stuff like that with the investment bank. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough kind of discuss. Like, it's an IPO, right? It's an individual company that needs money to come public, so you gotta just take a look at the background, the financials, who's taking them public. It's all just holistically important stuff. And not just like randomly buying whatever offering is out there being pushed by your broker because they're making some sort of commission on it. So yeah, I mean, you just got to be selective. But no, I don't really look at the IPO right now.
No.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, I'm too busy in the futures.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all you need. You guys killing it on that channel.
It's true. Yeah. Well, we're trying. You guys are doing well too. I mean, come on.
Yeah. It's just obviously the higher time frames, so it's not as actionable, right, as the futures. But yeah, I'm starting to get a little more comfortable with these smaller time frames, though. I got to say, that the main thing I had to adjust was giving a little more wiggle room on the stop losses because. With as strong and potent as the 4-hour zones are, I mean, I typically am just content with just giving it just like a small amount, like 3 or 4 or 5 pips stop loss.
Yeah.
Because most of the action tends to happen in there. So, that was initially what I was still doing when I came down to the 5 and 15s was 3, 4, 5 pips. Well, got to give it a little more wiggle room because of all the noise, right? So
sure,
I kind of tightened that up. It's been much better since, but pretty good stuff. Pound New Zealand.
That's good.
Pound New Zealand at 10. Where are you at? Where is that's your Pound New Zealand. Okay. All right. So it looks like I drew up zone high on the curve, which I wasn't expecting much out of because it is pretty high up. Got my higher time frame swing low and swing high. So I got this point here, this point here. I love doing my trend-based Fibonacci extension so I can draw in my thirds, stay out of the middle, avoid the middle, the diddle in the middle. So selling high on the curve, buying low on the curve. That's the goal. And it looks like I did put in an alert down here in the bottom third. Looks like I even put full position. So I must have had some strong conviction on this. Yeah, because of the score. Pound New Zealand, 4-hour demand. Stepping on down to a 1-hour demand here. So pretty nice confluence. At least 2 zones is what I'm looking for. So I got a 4-hour and I got a 1-hour confluence. But as always, the more the merrier. If I can find a confluence inside of that daily, that makes it even better. And yeah, I mean, technically you got this would be the 15-minute candle is actually bigger than the 1-hour. So I would still wait on the 1-hour. 5-minute, that's really as low as I care to go. I mean, sometimes I'll look at the 1-minute candles, but usually just the 5s. Okay, so there you go. The 5-minute, basically the same as the, is that right? 5-minute, same as the 1-hour. Did I see that? Did I look at that right? Where am I at? Oh. Well, either way. Oh, I was totally looking at the wrong zone. My goodness, Tiger. I need to go down here. Okay, so this makes more sense. So yeah, so I got some confluence here. So yeah, 5 minutes going to look the same. I've already looked at this, but yeah, this one up here looks like it did hit the zone at one point. Got a reaction to it, but nothing too good. Again, this was too high up for my taste. The gap sucked on this as well. That just was looking bad. That's why I colored it light green to begin with. I still like to look at certain zones just to study them and see what's happening up there, just more so for knowledge. And the other thing I do that for, Tony, is because it actually helps me with my patience. I need to see price hit zones that I know are not high probability so that I can sit there and focus on staying out of them so that baby scorpion syndrome does not come back. As silly and stupid as that may sound, that actually helps me out quite a bit. So that's why I often will, write up another zone and knowing that I'm not going to trade it. I don't know if that's silly or what, but it does help me with my patience.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. But yeah, this potential setup may take a while. So that's not anything that's in my immediate interest. So skip that. And then the last very bullish one I have is the Aussie CAD. Here we go. All right. Start from the top. Got a daily demand right there. Looks like I got a box around it already. Perfect. 4-hour inside of that daily. Got that. Looks like I put another rectangle, so that's probably an hour. So I got perfect confluence down there. Looking a little higher up, though, we had a 4-hour right here that got touched and flew up. Came back, touched it again. It looks like I drew up probably a 1-hour that got touched. And now we're on this recent move. It blew through a supply zone, so that's good. Okay, so 4 hours. Yeah, I mean, obviously the origin of this move is going to be right here. 4-hour demand. That's old news. I can delete that. Long ways away. Price flew up. It did pull back, and we made a new zone. Now, I might be okay with this area because it's not really part of the continuation. It did actually take 4, 8, 12 hours to come down. So this, in the smaller time frame, this is definitely going to be relevant. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw the 4-hour on there just for kicks. We'll step down to the 1-hour. Okay, got a 1-hour. And obviously I would incorporate the 4-hour for a stop loss probably, regardless of what I find in here.
Sure.
15-minute. All right, so here's my 15-minute price action. Got one here. Yeah, that gap got filled, so I don't really, and well, plus it touched the zone, so not too interested in that. So I got a nice gap here. So I would be wanting to pay attention to this candle here, which just basically means I'd be incorporating this whole area because it's 4 hour.
Mm-hmm.
So now I got a little bit of discrepancy here because I have lower time frame, better looking gap underneath a higher time frame demand.
I was going to say, yeah, the higher time frame demand is, I mean, more significant, no?
Well, yeah, I like it better if I have that lower time frame confidence. Well, so basically the way to look at this is, yeah, we got gaps on smaller time frames lower. We got gaps on the higher time frames. So the easiest way to look at this would probably just be to use the whole thing. So maybe just, get that reversal type price action anywhere in the top of this zone and just take off rather than waiting for it to retrace all the way down here because it may not make it.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. May not make it. So, yeah, this would probably be one where I would just focus more on the higher time frame. The downfalls is it did not break and close above this high point yet. Would have loved to have seen a third candle come out and close, but it didn't. But as I showed on this example here, say this drew it up as a 4 hour. Price got lazy, came back, still touched it, and took off. So it just goes to show the power of some of these zones. Now, but yeah, it is high on the curve, but it is low on the curve if you look at it on the smaller time frames. So I'd still be interested in that. And then obviously, now some people will use this triple top as, the take profits. So that would only give you a 1-to-1. But because it's a very bullish score of a 9, I got the fundamentals, I got the sentiment, and I got the technical aspect on my side. So I'm okay with trying to target a higher time frame supply. Yeah. What do we got? Okay, we don't really have anything there. Are we at all-time highs with this? Okay, we got some stuff way back here. Okay, so we could potentially get some rejection in these wicks up top. Potentially, but it is an efficient market. We got overlapping wicks, right? Hell, you could probably even, this is a very wicky currency pair too. I don't really like the wickier ones like this. Throws a lot of false signals out. So, I'll still keep an eye on this. I'll just put an alert just ahead of the 4 hour zone itself, just to see what happens. If I get a strong rejection, we might take a small stab at this. I probably wouldn't be interested in a full position. Maybe like a half position, a third of a position. Just dip my toes in the water, basically. Is that it? Yeah. Again, it's expensive. It's high on the curve if you're looking at the higher time frames, but still worth looking at here on the smaller time frames. So that's Aussie CAD. That's Aussie CAD. What about shorting something? What about a CAD yen short? That's a -10. All right. We got a pretty strong move down. Let's see. I got a 4 hour supply here. Clean this up a little bit. 4 hour supply here. So let's take a look at a 1 hour. All right. Got a 1 hour at the top of the zone. So we definitely got some 4 hour, 1 hour confluence. So that's good. Origin of this strong move, obviously. I like that. What else we got? Here's a 15-minute. Is that going to help me out at all? There's a gap on this supply candle here. There's a little bit of let's see here. I'm not really getting a lot of gap. I mean, you got the tiniest of gaps from this wick to this wick. So we might as well just utilize the 1 hour. But obviously we do have a gap here. So, it's got some potential. Not the cleanest look. Definitely not the cleanest look, but okay, there's a 5-minute candle in the 1 hour with a gap below it. So that would be okay. I'd be okay with the 5-minute. Didn't really get a 15-minute, but you got a 5-minute. Yeah, you got pretty efficient price action up here, but you do have your first inefficiency in the market right here. There's the gap on the smallest of time frames. So yeah, give me a price, give me a pullback to the 1 hour part of that zone, and we might have a ball game. So let's do something like this. Yeah, get a little bounce off the 4 hour, come back to the 1 hour, and then just get a little bit of manipulation of some type in here, like that.
Yeah.
That would be my wish list. That's my wish list right there. It looks funky, but you're going to typically get some type of reaction on the 4 hour because it's the highest time frame. I just want to see it hit that, so that's why. Now, again, it may come into the 4 hour and just run off without me. That's okay. That's totally fine.
Yep.
I like it.
Yep, I know.
Or it could hit the 4 hour.
At least you're identifying the level.
Right. It could hit the 4 hour and keep on going. So either way, yeah, it'll either run off without me or it will stop me out if on a limit order. Or again, I'll just wait to see what kind of break of structure I can get.
Yep.
So, 1,001 ways to trade, Tony.
I know. Speaking of that, actually, do you ever like get short in one market and then get long in the other, in like another that's somehow correlated to the first product? I know it's almost like, if they're inversely correlated, right? You're long one, it's going to go up, and then you're short the other, it's going to go down. It's almost like double leverage, right? It's just, sometimes it works. Sometimes you just want to stick to one thing and not be right. No, I'm sorry, not be wrong twice.
Yeah, I did pay it. I used to pay a little more attention to that back when I was more of a technical trader, technical only. Like, obviously, I didn't want to buy $1 yen and then turn around and buy gold, as an example. Right? Since they're so inversely related. So I did used to do that, but the more I studied the fundamentals, the more I started to look at them on individual relationship basis. The thing I try to avoid is trading the same currency multiple times, unless I'm splitting up the risk. Like if I'm in a full position, like I am right now on dollar CAD, until I close that position, I'm not going to trade the dollar for anything else or the Canada dollar for anything against anything else, because it's a full position. If I had a half a position, then I would be okay putting a half position on a dollar yen or a Aussie dollar or something like that. Or a CAD, pound CAD. That's not directly answering that question, but that's more so what I focus on rather than the correlations.
Yeah. But no, I did. I used to do it, and the more I started studying fundamentals, the more I just paid more attention to that. Hey, what's the relationship between the currencies like? Which is why I showed that example of the heat map, showing the little speed gauges there. Just simply pair me up with a strong currency versus a weak currency as far as the Forex pairs. But there's a time and a place for that. But I don't usually worry too much about it because I'm typically only in one trade at a time usually. It's not often I get into 2 or 3 trades, but the rare time I'm in, like I was in 3 trades here about a month ago. I was actually in 3 different trades. So I did kind of pay attention to the correlation at that point. I mean, I have a correlation map on, was it FX Street? Where do I have that correlation map? No, it's on, is it my FX book? Yeah, my FX book. So my FX book has one that I like to use. Yeah, so like here we go. Yeah, this, just as an example here,
This one kind of shows me the percentage correlations, for all the different pairs. So I will pay attention to that the rare time that I am in multiple trades. Which, yeah, again, with these higher time frames, usually just one trade at a time. Rarely I'll be in two, but extra rarely I'll be in three. Like I think I've only been in 3 trades at once one time this year. And I've been in 2 trades like maybe 3 or 4 times this year. But 95% of my trading is just one at a time. And when I am down on a smaller time frame, 5 minute, 15 minute, I usually just focus on that one while I'm in it. Because that's when it starts to get a little tricky. You probably understand better than anybody as more of a scalp trader, just being in one position at a time.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's just like, you only want to manage one thing, and like I said, you don't want to be wrong twice, especially if like the correlation like isn't happening that day. Of course, right? Some things just don't happen or don't play out the way that they should. So no, I was just curious because. I mean, obviously, you're looking at so many different pairs, and then, of course, like the commodity CFDs, and it's just like, I'm sure that there could be some sort of trade to be hashed out if you wanted something else, or if you wanted to like hedge a position, right? Go out and sell or buy gold, but again, you're adding legs of complexity to the trade, and it's like now you got to manage multiple things. So no, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, if I were a longer-term position trader, I absolutely would be all over that correlation map. Just, if you're in trade for several weeks or several months, absolutely. But there again, you could look at the, like you said, the hedging, incorporate that piece. So, I just don't typically worry about it as much since I'm just in one at a time usually.
Yeah.
I'm sure banks probably pay a lot of attention to it, or the institutions. Would
sure.
you say that?
100%.
Definitely would be a true statement, right? Yeah. Yep. There's no Tiger Capital hedge fund out in the world yet, so I just haven't had
multi-strategy hedge fund.
Right. I haven't had to worry about it yet to that much of an extent.
Yeah, I hear you.
What's my CAD? Okay, CAD pulling. There you go. Just keep on going back up. Yeah. I like it. Looking good. There. New Zealand dollar, Aussie dollar. -8, -7. What do we got over here? Yeah, see, automatically. Yeah, I kept an eye on this area. I did have some correlations on this area, but the reason I didn't get too excited about it was because it did hit this higher time frame demand way back here in April. Let's go look at that. 4-hour demand, real strong volume, and that move just kept going. You had efficient price action all throughout here. You had overlapping candles. Yeah, that was your first gap, your first 4-hour gap right there. Really strong gap. So, and then price just flew up a long ways from there. So when I drew up this supply zone, I looked back and to the left just to see what was back there. I found that demand. Unfortunately, it hit the demand before it hit the supply. So once it hit that strong demand, that basically told me to ignore this supply zone, even with all the confluence lines you see. So at this point, that's bad. That's old news. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete all this. And now, what's ahead? A daily supply. Let's look at this real quick. All right, so there's my daily candle with a big gap from here to here. So that's daily, and then 4-hour within, I'm assuming. Yep. So I got a 4-hour within. Now, I'll be honest, not the greatest gap. There's no gap on this supply, unless there's like a few pipettes. Maybe 1 pip. Or if that, actually. Yeah, let's look at this.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was going to say it's super tight.
Yeah, there's my gap. So that's 5 pipettes. or 0.5 pip, half a pip. I don't think that's
Yep.
going to get me out of bed. What's a 1 hour look like? 1 hour give me anything? I'm already not happy because there's not really a 4 hour gap. But what's a 1 hour give me? Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Really nothing. So I'm not real. So it's pretty efficient price action is basically what I'm getting at. Banks like to search for those inefficiencies in the market. So while I did get one on the daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, that's just not painting me a great picture. It's not giving me confluence like I like. But it was very clearly going sideways for a few days. So do I chance taking a buy or do I chance taking a sell off of the daily proximal line of the zone? Or do I just wait for it to go a little deeper, which may take forever and a day? Well, daily supply is going to be typically stronger than a smaller time frame 4 hour demand, especially that old. I mean, people are going to remember that price, but people get caught up in the moment. So they're over here paying attention. Yep. But your higher time frame traders, they're going to be looking and knowing that daily or that 4 hour demand's all the way back here. So do I want to chance this zone? Well, the reasons I would chance it is because daily is typically stronger than a 4 hour. 4 hours typically stronger than a 1 hour, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have made life easier had it not touched that demand. I would have been a little more comfortable about possibly taking that trade. I don't know. Didn't get the gaps. Don't really have the confidence I personally like to see. I'll probably just ignore it. But I also have to keep in mind we have a bearish score of a -8. So the fundamentals are pointing to selling this thing. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'll probably just treat this like a confirmation entry, smaller time frame. Let's have price at least touch that 4 hour, but I'll be extra strict on the break of structure. That's probably the way I would treat that. Not my favorite setup. But the good news is Aussie dollar is right there beside it with a -7 of its own. And it's currently chewing through a 4 hour zone. Yeah, okay, so 4 hours. What we got here? 4 hour. What did the 1 hour give? Was there any confluence on the 1 hour there? Yeah, pretty efficient price action. We got overlapping candles. So a similar story. So I'm just probably not interested in that zone as a whole. And clearly it's not been that strong because price has hit. It did get a reaction, but it's just chewing through it. So probably going to ignore that. At this point, we've got higher highs and higher lows. So if I'm trying to sell this market, I have to wait for this thing to roll over, get some lower highs and lower lows. Yep. So that's pretty much the play right there. I need price to turn around, start doing this so I can latch onto a zone at that point. Probably the way I'm going to treat this. All right, there's a potential supply or even this supply down here. So, yeah, need more information. And I need lower highs and lower lows. I'm going to ignore Aussie dollar. We didn't really get anything, did we? Let's go update on the gold status here. What we got? All right, no break of structure just yet. Looks like it wants to try, but still hasn't done it. What's silver doing? Well, let's see. Break of structure. Did it close above that point right there? Yep. Looks like it did just barely close. All right. So that's probably close enough for me. We did close just barely above this little area here, and obviously the double top there. So maybe we can look at this now, this little 5-minute area / 15-minute area. All right, so I'm going to delete this since we got our break of structure. Yeah, just get this type of price action right here. Something like that.
Yeah.
Now I'm okay. Now I'm okay with that, with a small opportunity, small trade opportunity. So got my alert set, just waiting on that alert to get hit, and we may possibly have a trade. It may take place after the stream ends, but yeah, I'm still not happy that it did bounce into that supply though. That's a little bit of a bummer, but yeah, confirmation entry. The confirmation cures a lot of that. Like if I'm just in the middle, yeah, it hit a zone. Okay, well, can I still get like a reversal type pattern, a little break of structure? If so, it might be back on. Yeah, just get that break of structure just like that. Might still be in the books. Might still be in the books. Oh, I got a purple line. Why do I have a purple line down there? Well, I go all the way back in time. We had a gap, like a pure gap. Yeah, no space or space,
Oh wow, yeah.
no candle. So I actually drew
wait,
that.
wasn't that a holiday or something?
June. Okay, so Friday close into June 1st. Oh no.
Okay, no.
Let's see what the old map shows. June 1st was a Sunday. May 30th. Did I say that right? May 31st? Or May 30th, June 1st. Okay. May 30th, Sunday, June 1st. Let me look. Friday would have been, all right, so PCE. And then Sunday was, nothing major.
Yeah.
May 31st. No, I don't see anything. Yeah, just looks like a early morning. Yeah, PCE, that was it. That was the only dollar report. University of Michigan sentiment, but that's more medium impact. But nevertheless, I drew it up with a purple box, but also there was a demand right below it, 4-hour demand. So we're looking way back in time. And then that move obviously spurred a giant up move. So fast forward to today, we have a whole bunch of resistance off of this daily demand. So we had 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, 4 points. Now we're 5 points. So the daily demand, the top end of it anyway, is just getting destroyed, but it's strong. So what I'd be open to checking out now is if we can fill that gap. Let's fill that gap and then hit the 4-hour below it, which is still in the context of a daily demand.
Yeah.
For possible buy on oil. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for oil. Oil is given a bullish score of a 7, so it's in line with the fundamentals. And I got an alert set down there already. Perfect. So yeah, let's fill that gap. Let's fill that sucker up and see if we can't. And another cool thing about this is you got all these resistance points. There's just a ton of liquidity under here, stop losses.
Yeah.
Which is going to be sell orders. So there's going to be a lot of sell orders down here that the banks need to fuel their buy orders, as well as whatever unfilled orders may be there still from that old demand for a move up. So that's the play to me right there. Now it's not really. It's obviously a sideways trend if you look at it from the higher time frame, or chop, I should say. But that's a liquidity sweep if I've ever seen one. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I mean, it's no denying that it's obviously there. You can't ignore it. That is for sure. I mean, we'll just see if the headlines cooperate, the price action cooperates.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Demand or stop loss underneath somewhere in this area here. Probably give it a little more wiggle room, because if we, the retail trader, could see that, the banks know that we, the retail trader, could see that. So the banks could probably try pushing price lower to collect my liquidity if we keep it too tight. So I feel like I probably want to give it a little more extra wiggle room.
Yeah.
Maybe something down there. because I could very easily see the
See,
banks
but it's
saying,
just it's crude oil. Like sometimes you give it that wiggle room, and it's like, oh, it just wicks into there, and it's like, oh my, it's like,
you
oh my god, you can't do it. You can't win.
know, yeah, yeah, just got to play the bank's game. Got to play their
Yep.
game. I feel like that's pretty good though. Pretty decent idea
Yeah.
with a stop loss. Okay, I mean that's a wide stop loss, but yeah, if I'm a bank, if I'm trading to the bank, I'm definitely trying to sweep all this liquidity.
Oh
With
yeah.
all this, I mean, obviously you got the liquidity here, but I could see them trying to take out that zone too. Those crazy people. Obviously, the very conservative stop loss would be to just put it straight under the demand itself, like that. Damn, that's a huge difference, isn't it? 58.60
Yeah.
or 59.60. So that's about $1.50 difference. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens if it touches it. Just keep it something like that. But anyway, got about 3 minutes left. That's about the bulk of what I got, my friend. I'm just going to be
Yeah.
probably up another hour and a half, watch my dollar CAD, see if I want to keep my stop there, and see if I want to. Yeah, I think I'll probably just leave it where it's at because I'm guaranteed $1,500 worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I want to be messing with my stop loss. I mean, yeah, it's got about 17 pips of wiggle room, which dollar CAD only moves about 50 pips a day to begin with, so it's one of the slower ones. I think that's plenty of wiggle room for it. Double check my ATR. Yeah, 51 and a half pips movement a day on the ATR. So
Yeah.
I think I'm good. I think I'm just going to leave it set where it's at. Leave it set. 1.3921. Yeah, so that's about where my stop is because I basically use this 1 hour demand as kind of my point to watch. And then I got my stop loss down here. So that's currently where I sit. I think I'm just going to leave it there. I don't think I want to give away any more gains than that. See if we can't use that 1 hour and just slowly chew through. That was a 30-minute supply. This is a higher time frame 1 hour demand, so I feel like that should be strong enough to push it back up. So that's it, man. Line in the sand. But good trade nevertheless. I like it, brother. Minute and a half left. Any thoughts, man? Seems like I always hog the show.
Yeah,
I
no.
apologize for that.
No, I know, and I always feel like I don't even add value. Like it's like
No, you do,
I'm just
absolutely.
providing the commentary on top. No, I mean the only one, and it's a good highlight, is that silver trade. That's kind of the one that overlaps with obviously the product that I like to take a look at every once in a while. So I'm actually literally eyeballing it. Right, I have been for the entire stream, but yeah, I'm setting a couple levels too. You know, like maybe a little bit of a bounce towards that last hourly candle low, and we'll see if it's going to be off to the races again. Again, I'm like more discretionary, where I'm taking into account obviously the stuff that's happening with the headlines and stuff like that. But you want to see the headlines cooperate, the price action cooperate, and all that. So yeah, it seems like that might be a trade to be had maybe in the morning, or it's probably going to happen at some point overnight, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'll definitely be looking at it first thing in the morning when Forex Fire starts at 2 a.m. my time. Yeah, that London Open seems to have some pretty good ORB type strategies. So if we could get price just to kind of go around sideways, get that first 30 minutes, get the bottom 30 minutes knocked out into that demand, that'd be great. But yeah, that whole thing could change obviously between now and then, because that's a whole 3 hours away. Or no, that's more than that. That's 5 hours away. I'm sorry. Yeah, this whole thing could be changed. Definitely don't think I want to leave a limit order on this though.
Yeah.
during my nap.
Yep.
So good deal. Well, fun stuff, my friend. Well, it's 10 o'clock my time,
Yeah.
11 o'clock your time. End of the show. But yeah, everybody, I'll be back in 5 hours for Forex Fire. You can catch Tony on the future show around 9:30 your time, right? Is that right? I believe it's 9:30.
Heck yeah. Yep.
So
we'll be on
we'll
tomorrow
be back.
morning, both of us. Busy day.
Busy day. That's right. See if they can
Yes,
open
sir.
up our government. Have a good one,
Sounds
everybody.
good. I know.
Take care. All righty.
We'll see you.
Hola Prime. Trade with transparency.